even the standard which we are witnessing these days. I also want to say another number. The hospital beds every 1,000 citizens, 2.7 beds in a hospital. This is a very important number because this is the least. This is the least. In Japan, for example, there are 10 beds for every 1,000 citizens. In Brazil, 2. But in Egypt, it's 1.4 bed for every 1,000 citizens. So there is a gap. And this is a result of overpopulation crisis, particularly in the past years. Investing in the health sector, we are investing with huge rates, but with 2.5 million increase annually, we are trying to maintain the standard we have now from 40 to 60 million Egyptian pounds annually, without taking into consideration the new graduates and how to achieve a comprehensive development on the ground. We are speaking about very huge investments in the fields of the health sector. There are a lot of fears in the coming future if we do continue with the same rates, that the coming generations, they are not going to find a place to be treated in. Thank you very much. Would you please, I'd like to interfere here. Please. I wanna see the last image of which Dr. Khalid was speaking about. Here I interfered to just to have a bridge between the reality on the ground and what's being said on the panel.
أنا مش كلامي كله مع الفئة اللي هي يعني.
My speech is directed to not to the thinkers or to the well-cultured or the concerned. I'm all the time saying that the message should reach all the people, all the brackets. And here I'd like just to have this mix between reality and between all what was said on the panel. I lived all my life in Egypt. And I asked this question so many times, why we reached this level? Why the hospital is like that? I was thinking to understand. What's the target? What's the goal of what we are doing? The national project of developing the Egyptian family, or to develop the Egyptian state? Just to make the family just satisfied and to be reflected on the Egyptian state and to reach this kind of stability? You asked us to maintain and to protect Egypt and to move forward with Egypt. So, to achieve this on the ground, Dr. Khalid spoke about the waiting list. When Dr. Hala Saeed introduced this waiting list just 3 years ago, it was such a number. 7, 8, or 10,000. So we said that we are going to treat them to put an end to the waiting list. Here we are talking about 1,062,000. All those were treated in the last 3 years. We had a decision on just 100, but we did not take the decision to treat more than 1 million. But what does it mean? that it means that what Dr. Khalid is saying that
32 مليار
in 2014
دلوقتي بنصرف
we
100
had
طب هم كفايه؟
the cost, or we paid
لان احنا لو
a
حولنا
certain amount
كل سرير حقيقي
of money, but now
واحد حتى واربعه ولا واحد وسبعه
here
اللي موجودين حاليا
regarding the 1.4 bed for 1,000 Egyptian citizen, the number is going to be doubled 2 or 3 times,
مرتين ثلاثه ويمكن اكتر.
and maybe more than
وأنا
that.
عايز اقول لكم مش بحكي.
I'm not just narrating what's going on.
حكايتنا كلنا.
This is the story of all of us.
في بلجيكا
When I was in Belgium,
بلتقي بالناس كلها كلمت الدنيا.
I met so many people.
فكان اول ملف اتكلم فيه كنت
The very first file, it was human rights.
كنت بتكلم في ملف ايه؟
Human rights file was the first topic.
حاجه مخبيينها.
We do not hide anything. We have
غير معلومه لا لينا احنا او لبعضنا حتى.
an unknown file. Only few of us knew about it.
التحديات اللي هم
The challenges
والدكتور مصطفى
which were detailed by Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Dr. Hala Said, and even the others who are going to speak about that. And this is what I was talking about with those officials. I asked them, why you've not asked me regarding the GDP, for example?
استغرب يعني.
They felt astonished.
بتاعك انت كام؟
And your GDP,
500 مليار دولار.
$500 billion. And what about the population? 10 millions.
قلت له يبقى انا عايز
Then
بتاعي
I want my income and
5
the
تريليون
development
عشان
to $5 trillion, because I do have 1 million Egyptians. And because of this,
ما بتاكلش كويس.
that Egyptians, they do not eat well, they do not receive the best service, whether in education or in health. This is the human rights I know.
اللي انا اعرفها ان انا المواطن بتاعي.
This is the human rights I know, that my citizen should be afforded with this.
انا مش مانعه انه يتكلم. انا قلت كده. انا مش مانعه انه يتكلم.
I do not stop him from talking. I'd like him to talk, but to know well the case, to know well the case of the state before talking and before just saying this to the people.
مش مستكمل معرفته وده كلمة مؤدبة.
I'll try to use a polite word, far from ignorance and not knowing how to evaluate reality.
بس عايز اقول لكم الناس خرجت ليه في 2011؟
Why people went out in 2011? Why?
الرضا المجتمعي ما كانتش موجودة.
Because there was no satisfaction. They were not feeling okay, but they did not know why they were not satisfied. But they did not know why they were not satisfied. Nothing was enough. No good school, no good education service. But here we should not say that there is poor performance by the citizen himself, but we made a drama for the performance of the state. I'm not going to take you out of the target, but I'm here saying one thing: to maintain, to preserve the Egyptian state, and not to witness this kind of escalation or damage which was about to happen on the ground in 2011. There were real reasons and how to change the reality, how to change their life. We want to change the reasons of escalation. And because of this, I mentioned this example with the official in Brussels. I want to build a university, I want to build a school, I want to build a hospital, and all to introduce a distinguished service. Not to quarrel, to let their children cheat, just to say that my kid, they do have an education certificate and he should have a job. Since 1960 or since 1950, this is reality. This is the main reason of the poor circumstances we are living in. I said it before. I am living the story with you, and in 2014
الكلام ده
I said it.
بس كان على عدد سكان
But
يعني
according
7 سنين
to
لو قلنا
the population by then, during the past
جالي
few
أرقام
years, we
زيادة
14 millions were added.
ل 14 مليون.
Do we have resources to cope with this
ده
increase?
عجز من الدولة؟ لا. قدرة الدولة
The ability of the state is not coping with the growth of the country. They are not like each other.
عندي مصروف 1000 جنيه
If I do have 1,000 pounds,
دخلي مش 1000 جنيه.
but my income is not 1,000 pounds, so
أنا مش بتكلم في موازنة، أنا بتكلم في
there
عجز
is
القدرة.
deficiency. Here I'm talking about performance,
ده بينعكس على النتيجة.
and this is reflected on the result.
وزير الاتصالات موجود.
Minister of Communications, Dr. Amr is here.
أنا عايز أقول لكم على حاجة.
I want to tell you something.
احنا كنا بنتكلم من كام شهر يا
We
دكتور
were speaking just a few months ago with Dr. Mustafa.
نعمل مستوى متقدم قوي في النظم، مش كده؟
We wanted to implement on the ground very modernized technological systems.
احنا بيتخرج من عندنا 700,000 في الجامعة، مش كده يا دكتور خالد؟
We do have 700,000 graduates every year.
كلامي كاشف ولا
University grounds. University graduates. I'm sorry.
لا صحيح. طب هقول لكم حاجة.
I'll tell you something.
الكلام ده بدأنا من 3 سنين أيام الدكتور ياسر ما كان ماسك وزير الاتصالات.
Starting 3 years ago, since Dr. Yasser was shouldering the responsibility of the IT ministry, we should afford job opportunities based on IT. But when we increased this, I'm telling this to all of you, to all Egyptians who do care about the citizens, about their future. We were surprised that this is to frustrate us. This is not going to do anything except with more insistence to fight for Egypt and for the Egyptians.
مش يعني لما بسمع كده اقول ايه مفيش فايدة؟ لا.
It's in vain? No, but I'm just giving you an example.
اللي انا بتكلم عليه ده
The labor market on the global level in one country. I'm talking in numbers. We are suffering from 1 million job opportunities. Please be with me. We want to have 1 million job opportunities. Please, Dr. make a program for the student. I'm ready to qualify programmers, to be able or to be qualified to any market. This is a new market. The youth is just in his home and he can deal with the global companies and to have such an income, $20,000 or $30,000. We want to elect a group of our youth and to qualify them in the best way in different universities, to take their masters, to take courses, and to graduate this group. The president had given his directives to the Minister of Communications to make an ad to attract or to urge the youth. Thousands of youth were introduced. Graduates from the faculties of IT. But and we made the tests on the global level, on the international level, to be able to be included into this program.
من فضلك ما تتكلمش، ما تكملش الكلام. أنا هسأل المواطنين كل اللي موجودين مكاني هنا.
I'm going to ask the citizens, would you please let me know when I do tests from 200 to 300,000 graduates from the IT, and when I found these standards, would you please let me know how many of these graduates are going to meet the standards? 50%? Isn't it unfair? Isn't it unfair for our youth? Isn't it unfair? Only 50% from 300 to 400, we found only 150,000. I see one of the guests of the EU. I found 111. 111. Because it's a poor education system. Poor education system. Wake up, Egyptians. If you do have some fears for your country, attention, this is a big issue. To build a real citizen capable of being a citizen. How much? How many, Doctor? 111. I was ready. If I do have 100,000, I swear to God, I'm going to pay for them. The $300,000 for each of them. The program was 1.5 years. 1 year for IT and 6,000 for 6 months for the language. I'm just telling the citizens who are now at their homes and asking themselves why my sons or my children are not working, they do not have jobs. Because you just run or is eager to let him or her join faculty, and that's it. And this is the way to qualify your son. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said it. Rationalize it first and then go on. This is a strategy. Did anyone tell his daughter when she was about to get married, please just postpone giving birth or postponing having a baby? Take a breath. Just take your time to cope with the new life you are entering. Here I'm not talking about family planning. I'm speaking about the way or the transitional period from living with her mom and dad to her new life as a married woman. And after that, a divorce. Please take a chance, just 1 year or half, to cope with the new home. And whenever you are able to do that, continue the other step. Do we have such dialogues? I said that to my daughter. Slow down, 2 or 3 years. And because of this, we made the tests, the pre-marriage tests. Why? Because the coming child has rights. What's his rights? That before moving forward and planning for birth, to make sure that my genetic, my health conditions, with science, this is going to have such a result. These are the stores of God. In Finland, for example, it's going to be 10 out of 10, but here it's 2 out of 10. But in Singapore, for example, the GDP, $300 billion. And here we are speaking about the GDP here and to have comparisons between here and other countries. And here you are asking me why all those who are in need for treatment, they are not treated. Why? But here, here soft power is very important. Like in one of the movies, for example, the state should not be an enemy. The negativity is the enemy, but it's not the country. In 2011, when you turned the country into an enemy, it was destroyed. And if it was not God's mercy, you would find Egypt, as many other countries, completely destroyed, destructed. But with God's mercy, should we stay just like that? And when I meet people in the street, I'm angry with you. I do have 6 children. What should I do? What can I do? I swear to God, I'm speaking seriously. But of course, all these things are not showed on TV. But you have 6, I do have 100 million. You do have 6, I do have 1 million. I do have 100 millions. 100 million. I'm saying this to all people who are listening to us from all those countries who are asking this question: why you do not give the rights to the people? What kind of rights? I do not find something to eat. I do not know how to educate or how to treat or how to give job opportunities. Go to المرج or الخصوص. Go and see what I see when I walk there. This is our country. This is our country. To all the top executives, to all those in media, to all university, to all in education, to all in the health sector, to all in the mosque, in the church. Go downtown, go and just look with your eyes. In المرج or in المطرية, just for people to walk, I eliminate hundreds of buildings. What are you doing? Why you're here? I'm saying this because this is our country. It's not mine, it's our country. I was all the time speaking about national security. When I entered seriously into the education sector, Dr. Tariq Shawqi was harshly criticized. Do you want real education service or no? These meetings have only one goal: awareness. We should not feel ashamed of speaking frank. But you're speaking in a way that would be understood by many, but others should be introduced in another way. To have GDP $5 trillion to introduce the services introduced in Europe, and to introduce education service like in Europe, and to introduce awareness like what's going on in Europe. I cannot introduce that. When we made the waiting list, we found that we are not speaking about 20 or 30,000. We are speaking about more than 1 million, and we are still continuing in the same way, and this is going to witness another increase. The whole idea is, I swear to God,
هيبقى في فرص للجهد.
I don't think that there's going to be other chances for work,
بس انتوا مش حاسين.
for exerting efforts, but you do not feel that.
في الاخر انت عايز تبقى عايش
But
برضا. انت مش
you
عايش
just
برضا.
want to feel satisfied and you're not satisfied.
الحاجة غالية عليك.
They are high prices and it's getting higher,
عازلين عن الواقع.
and we are not far from
مش عايشين جوه
reality.
بلدنا بس.
We are not just living here inside Egypt, but we do. There are impacts reflected on us.
كمان بيغلى علينا. طب احنا ده احنا العملية مركبة.
It's a very complicated process.
غلايين.
High prices is doubled.
معدلات نمونا مش مكافأة لمعدلات نمونا.
The growth rate and the population.
معدل النمو الاقتصادي بتاعنا.
The economic growth rate, it's not coping with the increase in population. This is number one. Number two,
متراكم على مدى ال50 سنة. يعني
deficiency. There's accumulated deficiency in so many cases, in so many files.
الطبيعي 2.7 واحنا 1.4 مش كده؟
The rate is 2.7, but we are 1.4, so we want to double the number of the beds in hospitals.
500
If we do have 500 today,
مش كده؟ يبقى انت عايزهم كام؟
then we need 1,000.
طب بكام؟
How much should it cost?
انت كده عملت ايه؟ عملت المكان، الخرسانة، عملت
And it's just the building, it's not the infrastructure, it's the ER, it's the operation room. But what about the doctors? They are leaving us to other places to live.
وانا بديله مرتب كويس.
Do I give him good money?
هو السؤال هو انا مش عايز اديله مرتب كويس.
The question here,
اديله مرتب كويس.
I am not able to give him good money, or I do not want, I'm not able, or I do not want. What about the teacher?
لا انا مش قادر. وبالتالي
I am not capable of doing so. It's not I don't want to do so. And here, for example, I'm talking about IT engineering.
عشرات الالوف اللي اتخرجوا.
Thousands or tens of thousands were graduated from these colleges, and when we do these tests
عشان تطور ايه؟
to develop or to modernize the IT infrastructure, to have a distinguished graduate.
النهارده الطالب يقول لك ايه؟
But
انتوا هتعملوا لنا بالايباد. لا لا لا.
you want us to use iPad,
بص تلاقي الاعلام بيتكلم في الموضوع.
and you would see the media speaking about this and others
بيتناولوا
tackling it,
ليه؟
not to take place on the ground.
تفضل في دايرة.
Then you are going to remain in this vicious circle.
يعني عايزة كلمة لطيفة يعني في دايرة ان المستوى بتاعك هيفضل كده.
You are going to keep this low standard.
يعني مش هيبقى دايما في سوق العمل. هو سوق العمل في مصر بس.
The labor market is not only here in Egypt, but I urge Dr. Mustafa to speak about only an example, and there are other examples and other models.
مش كده؟ احنا بنجيب الحد الأقصى يا دكتور. بنجيب العدد الأقصى يعني بنقول في الموارد بتاعتنا
We are speaking with the maximum limits.
هاتوا إيه؟ هاتوا الناس اللي تقدر.
We will pay, but with qualified people. And here it's only an example, only one example. If I do have thousands of graduates from the faculties of arts, Department of Geography, do we have something like that in the labor market? And you would find a writer saying that we should fill this gap between the labor market and the education system. What do you want? You just want to educate your sons and daughters just to say that I have given you the education certificate with all my respect to the specialty. But all those graduates, they do not have a place. I talk too much. The message I wanted to deliver is that the case, it's not the authority or it's not the state. There is a country
وانا
I
معاك
am one of you.
ولو مش قادر والله
And if
والله
I'm not capable of doing this,
واديكوا التحيه وامشي.
I would say thank you and go out.
كلنا يلي مش قادر يجابه.
We should do it together and we should face it together. If there is someone who is not capable of doing so, we are responsible for this in front of God. The future of the coming generations.
الشيخه اللي بتتكلم يا قداسه
To all the sheikhs, to all the fathers, the archbishops,
اخونا اي مكان اللي
to everyone who speaks, whether in the mosque or in the church, please.
القضيه كبيره قوي.
It's a very big issue, a very big file.
كبيره قوي.
In education, it's a very big file.
النهارده تقدم جدا والمعدل الحرج بتاعنا.
The world is witnessing such development and advanced a lot. For the very first student to say that we educated him, it's going to be after 16 years.
دكتور طارق مش كده يا فندم؟
Dr. Tariq,
لا انا بتكلم بعد الجامعه.
I posed this question.
بعد الجامعه. التعليم العام ثم التعليم
I'm speaking about the post-university.
ده اللي هو مش كده
6, 6 and 4.
اي فندم 6 و6 و4
مش كده؟
Yeah.
يعني عشان تشوفوا المستوى اللي احنا ممكن نكون.
Just to see the standard or the level we are talking about with one condition to help us. And here we watched a mom with 1 or 2 children.
عشان رعايه. انا بتكلم عن
Just to stay for 1 or 2 hours to care about them.
الراجل حتى الراجل بيقول لك انا ايه بخليه يشتغل عشان يساعدني.
We listened to one of those who were speaking. The father said that the son was working to help with the family to increase their income.
هو حد يقول في الموقع اللي انا فيه الكلام اللي انا بقوله ده؟
Have you found anyone in my place saying what I'm saying now?
مرتبات منخفضة.
Very low income. Am I the reason? If it were me, I really wanted to give each citizen 30,000 pounds. But how? But how?
كل كلام بنقوله هنا.
Every word we say here.
كشف طبي قبل الزواج.
If we're speaking about the pre-marriage medical tests, who cheats on us is not one of us.
في قسيمة العقد الزواج سواء كان مسلم ولا مسيحي.
When we found that the marriage document says that everything is okay, and the children coming after that they do not enjoy good health, you are unfair. You are a cheater. You should do this medical check, and the families should take care of this because the coming generation, because the coming children should benefit from this. Do we do so? What you can find someone who has a baby or a girl only 12 or 13 years old and who want her to get married. By this, do we really know God? Is it legitimate? Is it legal? Are we religious? Are we religious by instinct? Is this legitimate? My daughter is only 14 or 15. I would let her face such a thing? You want to just feel released? This is very difficult. I would not eat. I would not eat. But let my daughter or my sons and daughters eat. When we say, please, make the age of marriage a suitable way. We see and we are afraid of the consequences, and this is translated into understanding. As I said it before, who understands more suffers more, and who does not understand is feeling much comfort. Thank you, Mr. President, and to Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar, Minister of Higher Education and Acting Minister of Health. We watched in the documentary many of the answers. What should I do? What would I do? If I got educated, I work to get money and to help. Most of the answers included some answers regarding the overpopulation. What are the most important axes of the Ministry of Social Solidarity to work on regarding the overpopulation? I'm very much honored to participate into this issue, which is really reflected on the lives of the Egyptians, how to raise the standard of living of the Egyptian citizen. Two pillars are directly having their impact.
سواء محفزات أو تقديم حوافز إيجابية أو الحرمان منها مش كعقاب بس كتحفيز الأسر ناحية إنها تتبع السلوك الإيجابي. المحور الاقتصادي الحقيقة يمكن
The economic indicator, we really believe that whenever there is more productivity for women, then she is not going to have more babies. The poor education level, so her participation in the social activities is not that good. So she feels that her level is going to be raised only by giving birth, and particularly boys. Many problems are already indicated and to invest in the coming generations and to stop inheriting poverty. This is our mission. In fact, 14 million Egyptians benefit from this program. 3,600,000 families are in the age of giving birth. Periodic tests for women, medical checks were implemented on the ground for women, and also the food basket for the very first 1,000 days in the babies' lives to maintain and to preserve the health conditions of the women and children. Also, there are 1,007,000 girls eligible for early marriage or exposed to this danger from 10 to 15 years. Those families who are going to go on and to have this early marriage, they are not going to receive the financial incentives. 99.8% of the children of the Kafala and Karama program are already included into the schools. If they are not even receiving the good quality of educational service, but we are putting them on the right track. The other part of economic development, we did not add many new families under the umbrella of Takaful and Karama. We are pushing them to enter the labor market, whether to work from home, from a workshop, from a small factory. We are urging the women just to enter the labor market, how to see their family living in a better condition. 120 job opportunities are afforded from a Mastura program developing the rural women. And also we do have added nurseries. 1,100 nurseries were developed last year, and we aim to reach 3,000 nurseries. There's also financial positive incentives
في قضاء بعض احتياجات المنزل
for
زي
working
وجبات
women
نصف
and
النهارية وزي حاجات أخرى
to
كمان.
support the working
الحقيقة
women
إن
with
المحور الثاني
half-cooked
هو
meals,
الوعي
for
الكافي على
example.
قوى
Also,
النعمة.
awareness
يعني
or
هقول
soft
لحضرتك
power is
إن
very
إحنا
important.
عندنا مشكلات
Let's say that
كبيرة
we do
في
have big
مستوى
problems
الوعي
regarding
كتير
the
من
awareness level,
القضايا
and
أو
many of the
المفاهيم
files or
المتخاطئة
concepts,
أو
the wrong
المخلوطة ما
concepts,
بين الحلال والحرام وما بين
what's
القوة
legitimate and
والضعف
what's
وإلى آخره،
illegitimate, what's
بتؤثر مش بس على الزيادة السكانية،
strength and what's
بتؤثر على
weakness.
جودة الحياة بشكل عام
This is
وعلى تحقيق
having
الحياة
its
الكريمة.
negative impacts on
قياسنا للفقر بمؤشرات
promoting the
فنية
quality
أو
of
تحديدها
living.
بيخلينا نرصد الأسرة متأخرة قد إيه، مش بس ماديا ولكن في كل المؤشرات.
Also, we do monitor the indicators of the families from all aspects.
مصر بتتغير للأفضل.
With awareness, even Egypt is moving forward. This is a program we are adopting, and we are facing many files having its impacts as the early marriage, as FGM, as if depriving women from education, as depriving women from work. We are working on so many files to correct many concepts, and we are supported by many of the pioneers. According to the presidential directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, we want to reach 4 million families. Also, the production centers on the rural levels, we do have 120 centers. 640,000 families are affiliated to these centers. We are supporting them by all means, and we are also NGOs are supervising with us the awareness campaigns, and also to decide or to monitor all those families. There is a program named Two Are Enough, including 108 NGOs, and which achieved on the ground a lot of successes. A lot of efforts are exerted and continuing on the ground. 108, they are going to reach 400 NGOs, including the clinics of Two Are Enough or Itnin Kifaya, in full coordination with the Ministry of Health. Also, the NGOs are very active in this field, and the Health Ministry is accrediting all these doctors affiliated to those NGOs. This is to fill the gaps all over the country. Last but not least, regarding the awareness, when we go on the ground and we launch these awareness campaigns, we have tangible effects, tangible steps implemented on the ground. We do have 4 million files, and we do witness the changes which are taking place on the ground to know whether it's going forward or vice versa. This is in full coordination with our colleagues in other ministries and with NGOs, also in full coordination with the religious entities, whether Islamic or Christian entities. Particularly as we are speaking about religious communities, we do full coordination with the churches and the mosques. Thank you very much, Dr. Naveen Al-Qabash, Minister of Social Solidarity. You mentioned the role of empowering women during your speech. Empowering Egyptian women is one of the main pillars of the national project of developing the Egyptian family. And here I will pose this question or ask Dr. Maya Morsi, the head of the Women Council, the National Women Council. I'd like to ask about the role in serving this national project. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, ladies and gentlemen, empowering women and investing in girls is one of the pillars to monitor the rate of birth and the characteristics of population, but it's not, the burden should not shouldered only by women, but when we ask women, when we ask them on the ground why you give birth to so many boys, her answer is always, I want to have a boy because this is the way she would be stable and feel secure. Increasing empowerment should be via continuing with her education and also improving her skills, entering the labor market. We urge the private sector to protect the Egyptian women to be included into the labor market and to go there. Also the health care and also eliminating violence against women, eliminating the early marriage. If we are speaking about human rights and we're speaking about the rights of the society, this is the golden age of Egyptian women. We are going to get rid of early marriage. We are going to get rid of all forms of violence against women with real political leadership. The National Council of Women works on two axes, economic empowerment first, and we start with women in rural areas. If she does not have an ID, we intend to give her 500,000 women. Also, financial inclusion is also one of the pillars. We work with the CBE, and for the very first time we moved from this iron box to implement or to have her small project via electronic program, and we named it as Tahwisha. And this is the way she can enlarge her business. We target 1,200,000 women. The other also, we do care about green projects, entrepreneurship. Well, the targeted women, they are not going to be monitored globally, but we see Egyptian women doing compost, recycling of oils, environmental projects. So we do have miracles on the ground made by the Egyptian women. She can do a lot. 1 million Egyptian women were targeted, the fourth pillar, to afford the Egyptian women with the workshops, with the training centers, and what happened during the COVID, and how the Egyptian women produced medical supplies, mosques. There's full coordination between us and the Ministry of Health to have workshops inside the complementary centers to train the city to produce all those requirements or the military need, the medical needs. Awareness is also one of the axes, in full coordination with the House of Iftah, the Egyptian Church, Al-Azhar. This is going to be in full coordination with the imams, with the archbishops, the fathers, on all governorates. This is going to be in a dawar, or a place of the mayor, and she is going to find answers for all her questions, and a moderator, of course, who would manage the session.
المدخل الثاني في التوعية هو الإرشاد الأسري والتنشئة المتوازنة. بنشتغل مع مدربين معتمدين من
We
الجمعية
also
المصرية
work
للأعضاء
with
الملكية
qualified and
للتربية
licensed
لأول مرة
trainers,
مجموعة مدربة بعناية فائقة
very well trained ones
هتنزل على الإرشاد الأسري
for
والتنشئة المتوازنة.
family
عايزين نقول
guidance.
للناس إن المباعدة كما ذكر سيادة الرئيس
For example, we want to tell the
هتدي
people
علاقة جيدة بين الرجل
when there is a gap between a baby and the other, the child is going to have all his right, and to the mother to enjoy a good health, to be able to have another baby. The genetic diseases, of course, are getting lower and lower. Investing in the Egyptian girl is our last pillar, as we say that there is a golden age for Egyptian women. This program is going to afford the Egyptian women with the training courses and programs. 1 million Egyptian women training how to enter or to be integrated into the society and to make a dialogue with a girl. All these efforts in partnership with our colleagues inside the project, the national project, and to have full coordination on the ground to reach a very comprehensive environment. Thank Dr. Maya Morsi, the head of the National Council for Women. Women are the pillars of this national project. Of course, she needs a piece of advice, so is the man. The youth who are about to get married, they need to be advised. And here we would listen to Dr. Shawqi Alam, the Mufti of the Republic. What are the piece of advice which should be given to the youth and to the Egyptian family to promote the standard of living of the Egyptian family? In the name of God, most merciful, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, ladies and gentlemen, of course we do appreciate and praise this project, this strong project which is going to help the Egyptians, because we do consider the society as one, and this is to realize the real protection of the human being, and this is one of the legal targets to preserve the man, to preserve the mind, to present. The human being is the pillar. When we do invest in human beings, this is the base. So this project is the huge project which is included under the umbrella of the other huge national projects made by the Egyptian state. The Islamic Sharia is giving solutions to all problems, but it needs ration, it needs reason, it needs a mind who really realize what's going on around them and the developments which are taking place on the ground. There's no doubt that I highlight here the awareness issue, to be aware of the family file. There are defects in the system of the family with so many families, with issues related to marriage, and so we worked on some targets or on some axes. We made courses for those who are about to get married. It's not only the legitimate file, but also the scientific aspect, psychological and sociological, in addition to Islamic Sharia. And recently, only 2 years ago, we established a center for marriage guidance to manage the problems of divorce. We also, the Motion Graphic Center,
ما يمكن أن ينفع الأسرة المصرية بالتعاون مع مؤسسات الدولة.
to distribute or to publish what's beneficial for the Egyptian family. And last but not least, Mr. President, I'd like to say that the comprehensive policies and the coordination among different entities, I noticed in one of the documentaries that there are many justifications and related to God, and here we are abiding by the rules of God, of course, in this universe, but God Almighty asked us to rationalize, to think, to rationalize and then to go on, and this is the way we should proceed in. And so God Almighty
عندما لا يستطيع الزوج أن يعدل بين الأربع زوجات التي نص عليها فإنه يكتفي بواحدة، وعلل القرآن الكريم بقوله ذلك أدنى ألا تعولوا. وعندما نأتي إلى التفسير لهذه الآية نجد بأن الكثير من الأئمة
God Almighty asked the man just to have only one wife if he is not going to be able to have this, to implement this kind of equality among the four, because this is the best way to lead a family.
على قدر هذا الكم الكبير من النتاج في الأولاد. ولذلك
And so
لابد من التوازن ما بين
balance should be achieved.
النسل في حد ذاتها والزيادة السكانية. هل يمكن أن نتخذ من الإجراءات وتدعمه الشريعة؟ نعم. كل ما طرح في هذه
Are there any procedures which can be taken according to the Sharia to achieve this goal? The answer is yes. All what's beneficial for the human being is part and parcel of our Sharia, is part and parcel of the targets of Sharia. Thank you very much for the President and to all here.
طيب في ذات السياق
In the same context,
الأنبا يوليوس أسقف عام الخدمات العامة والاجتماعية. يافة الأنبا الحقيقة فضيلة المفتي ذكر في حديثه
Archbishop Julius, we spoke about the lost awareness.
من وجهة نظر نيافتك كيف يمكن
In your vision, sir, how we can regain this kind of awareness and to read this awareness, and the role of the Egyptian Coptic Church in promoting the Egyptian family. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all to invite the Egyptian family to witness the launch of this huge national project of developing the Egyptian family. And here you have taken us from this luxurious hall to a tour in Egypt and to inspecting on what's going on the ground. Thank you very much for this transparency, which we really feel in all your dealings. Jesus Christ said, I came to give them life and to give them the best. Life, if we take this concept, it's from Decent Life Initiative in Egypt, and the best in the project or the national project to promote the Egyptian family. So life and the best, as Jesus Christ said, this is what's implemented on the ground by Egypt. With all sense of pride, we are partners, the developmental arm of the Coptic Church. We do have such a share with the Decent Life Initiative and also in cooperation with the Ministry of Immigration, and with this project to only one boy fear God is better than 1,000 others cheaters. With only one good person, a city would be constructed, but with the gang, it will be destroyed. This is a document released by the Coptic Church and signed by Pope Theodorus, the head of the Egyptian Orthodox Church. And this was last year, 2021. And we clarified the stance of the Church regarding the family planning. This file is having full support from the Coptic Church, and we found that this is the best way to achieve sustainable development, a better life for the father and mother, children, sustainable development for all via family planning. What did the Church do on the ground regarding this file? First, for those who are about to get married, the Coptic Church really cares about the family before it starts. This course now is mandatory. It's not optional, meaning that I cannot get married before having this certificate from this course and pass it with a good degree and going through all the honest medical checks before going into the procedures of marriage. This course, family planning was added to this course. We do clarify this file from scratch. There is a full chapter in this book regarding this, and we explain scientifically and socially to the man and the woman all the details. After reviewing this chapter, we found that it has such an impact. It has a direct impact on on those who are included into the program or the course. We do care to have programs for the families. Those programs in 56 communities every year, and then moving to other 56. We do have statistics. In Decent Life Initiative, 50% of the Egyptians are living in rural areas. They are farmers. So we make courses. First, education. Because without mental change, I'm not going to be able to care about my health or to achieve family planning or anything. So first, education. Eradicate illiteracy and to support the children to continue with their education, because in these villages we help the boys and girls to continue with their education, not to leave the education and to work. And regarding the health sector, we do have contacts with the Ministry of Health. There is comprehensive awareness campaigns on the ground, and here we do work on all Egyptians. We serve Egyptians. It's not Christians. We work on Egyptians in all our conferences, in all our forums. We speak about health. We are speaking about all. We fight violence against women, early marriage, compulsory marriage, violence against children, not to give the children their right in living their childhood. I also want to make sure that we do have even drama series to make the farmer or the illiterate one to understand in a scientific basis the repercussions or the dangers of the FGM. Regarding family planning in villages, It should be simplified, and far from the forums or sessions, only a small portion, those who really understood. So we are trying to reach the simple people on the ground and to make them fully understand the whole story. The last point, which is very important, to develop the family, the economic empowerment and the small businesses. Regarding small businesses, we added the green businesses because 2022, it's the climate change year. Any initiative you do, the church supports it. Even Pope Tawadros launched an initiative for cultivating trees. All this is going to be implemented in 2022. 2022 is going to be the year of environment. The Coptic Church is supporting all the initiatives and all the projects, all the national projects, because really development is the only road to the new republic. Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا نيافة الأنبا يوليوس أسقف عام الخدمات العامة والاجتماعية، والشكر طبعا موصول لفضيلة مفتي ديار المصرية دكتور شوقي علام.
العمل داخل الدولة المصرية دائما ما يتم بالتوازي بعدد من المبادرات والمشروعات القومية في وقت واحد. وهنا أوجه حديثي للأستاذة يوستينا ثروت رئيس قطاع الفئات الأولى بالرعاية بمبادرة حياة كريمة. كيف تتكامل مبادرة حياة كريمة مع المشروع القومي لتنمية الأسرة المصرية؟
فخامة السيد رئيس الجمهورية، السادة الوزراء، الحضور الكريم.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, first, I'd like to express my appreciation for being here, in which we witnessed the launch of the national project of promoting the Egyptian family. You do have this belief to invest in the Egyptian character, hand in hand with developing the infrastructure and having the national projects.
وهقتبس كلمة من سيادتك في المؤتمر الأول لحياة كريمة لما قلت إن الإنسان المصري هو كنز الوطن وأيقونة انتصاره ومجده. وهنا اسمحوا لي إني أشارك حضراتكم إزاي المشروع القومي حياة كريمة بيساهم في تنمية الأسرة المصرية. بداية من الاهتمام بجانب التمكين الاقتصادي للمرأة المعيلة من خلال تقديم مشاريع متناهية الصغر بعد تدريبها وضمان استدامة المشروع. بجانب تجهيز العرائس بعد إعطائهم دورات مشورة أسرية ونفسية وتربية الأطفال لضمان ترابط أسري سليم. والتوعية بالقضايا المجتمعية الهامة بمشاركة وزارة التضامن الاجتماعي لتغيير سلوك المجتمع. أيضا إطلاق حملات محو الأمية الرقمية وفتح فصول رقمية متنقلة لأطفالنا في المدارس وأهالينا في قرى حياة كريمة. بجانب تنمية عقول أطفالنا بطرق جديدة من خلال المسرحيات. وده كله يا فندم مش هينفع نكمل فيه بدون وضع حجر زاوية التنمية وهي تنظيم الأسرة، وده للحد من الانفجار السكاني اللي بيعتبر إهلاك لعجلة التنمية، وده بالتعاون مع الجمعية المصرية لتنظيم الأسرة. بالإضافة إلى إطلاق مبادرات المكتبات الثقافية والاهتمام باكتشاف ورعاية الموهوبين بالتعاون مع وزارة الثقافة لخلق جيل جديد قارئ مثقف وواعي. وما زالت المسيرة مستمرة لنشر الوعي والتغيير الإيجابي لحياة الأسرة المصرية، وذلك تنفيذا لتوجيهات ورؤية سيادتك في جمهورية جديدة قوامها العدل والتنمية وفي القلب منها الأسرة المصرية لتكون لهم حياة وليكون لهم أفضل. وشكرا لسيادتك.
شكرا جزيلا أستاذة يوستينا ثروت رئيس قطاع الفئات الأولى بالرعاية في مؤسسة حياة كريمة. والحقيقة أن سيادتك أعلنت عام 2022 عام للمجتمع المدني، وده كان في توصيات منتدى شباب العالم في النسخة الماضية. وهنا لازم أتوجه بالسؤال لدكتور نهى طلعت، والحقيقة لازم أسألك عن دور المجتمع المدني هنا. إزاي بيلعب المجتمع المدني دور مؤثر في هذا المشروع أو في تنمية الأسرة المصرية اللي احنا يمكن بنتكلم عليها النهاردة؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنا في بداية كلامي بحب أوجه خالص الشكر لفخامة رئيس الجمهورية على رعايته وتشريفه لهذا اليوم المهم. الحقيقة أنا هتكلم بصفتي عضو مجلس إدارة في الجمعية المصرية لتنظيم الأسرة، وهي دي بتعد أقدم جمعية اشتغلت على ملف تنظيم الأسرة في المجتمع الأهلي في مصر. هي جمعية أشرت سنة 1958 تحت اسم جمعية الدراسات السكانية، والحقيقه احنا الجمعيه الوحيده اللي حزنا على عضويه الاتحاد الدولي لتنظيم الاسره. احنا بنعتمد في شغلنا يمكن على مبدا معالجه القضيه بشكل لا مركزي. احنا موجودين في اكثر من 21 محافظه ب 104 مركز طبي وعيادات لتقديم خدمات تنظيم الاسره بالمجان لكافه السيدات. احنا يمكن في تشكيل مجلس الاداره الخاص بالجمعيه بنراعي جدا تمثيل المراه تمثيل مناسب بحيث انه ما يقلش العدد عن 50% ونسبه الشباب ما تقلش عن 20%. وده اتاح الحقيقه استدامه في نشاط الجمعيه. الجمعيه موجوده بتقدم خدمات طبيه كجزء من دورها، وبتستهدف الشباب ب 17 عياده صديقه للشباب إضافية لل 104 عيادة. دول بيستهدفوا تقديم المشورة للشباب قبل الزواج والتحدث معهم حول كل قضايا الصحة الإنجابية. ده بالإضافة لوجود معهد تدريب لبحوث الصحة الإنجابية موجود في محافظة الإسكندرية. الحقيقة احنا يعني عملنا من خلاله أكتر من 3000 تدريب بالتنسيق مع الحكومة والوزارات المختلفة والجهات الحكومية والغير حكومية. ده بالإضافة لبعض الهيئات الدولية عملنا فيه يمكن 300 تدريب مع هيئات دولية، وقمنا بتدريب الشباب الإفريقي على برامج الصحة الإنجابية وتنظيم الأسرة. وده طبعا لأن هي قارة أفريقيا يمكن بشكل عام بتعاني من مشكلة زي اللي مصر بتعاني منها، وهي النمو السكاني الرهيب في معظم الدول. طبعا احنا يعني في منظورنا منظور الشراكه مع الحكومه والقطاع الخاص، وده تاكيدا على توجيهات سيادتك الدائمه انه يمكن هو مثلث التنميه بالثلاث اضلاع عمره ما هيدي النتيجه المرجوه الا لو كان المجتمع المدني بيشتغل على نفس الأجندة وعلى خطة الدولة بالتوازي وبالشراكة مع الحكومة. احنا طول الوقت واخدين على عاتقنا حتى في الشراكات مع الوزارات المختلفة ان احنا نبني قدرات كل المواطنين فيما يخص ثقافة الصحة الإنجابية. يمكن احنا قمنا بأكثر من تدريب لبناء قدرات العاملين في قطاع الإعلام والوزارات المختلفة، وده جزء من الدور الخاص بالجمعية واللي احنا مكملين فيه وبالتعاون حتى مع مؤسسة حياة كريمة في إطار المبادرة الرئاسية. وطبعا استدامة الجهود دي هي يمكن يعني هي قضية بتتعالج على المدى الطويل. استدامة جهود هي اللي وصلت ان يعني المعدل الحمد لله ينخفض من 6.7 ل 2.9. طبعا بنطمح في الأكتر واحنا مكملين في ده. ودور المجتمع المدني احنا متأكدين ان هو ان شاء الله بالشراكة مع الدولة هيحقق انجاز ملموس. ميرسي لحضرتك.
شكرا للدكتورة نهى طلعت عضو الجمعية المصرية لتنظيم الأسرة. الشباب هم وقود المجتمع في كل المبادرات والمشاريع القومية، وكما توجه سيادتك دائما بإشراك وضرورة إشراك الشباب في جميع قطاعات الدولة. مجموعة من الشباب نظموا مجموعة من المبادرات، شباب الجامعات نظموا مجموعة من المبادرات التي تخدم هذا المشروع القومي، الأستاذة بسنت عيد والأستاذ محمد طه.
في البداية نحب نشكر سيد رئيس الجمهورية إن هو أتاح لنا فرصة المشاركة في حدث مهم زي ده، وهو إطلاق المشروع القومي لتنمية الأسرة المصرية. وإحنا كشباب بنؤمن بأهمية دورنا في تنمية المجتمع والأسرة المصرية، وعلشان كده أطلقنا حملات توعوية في نطاقين مختلفين وهم الصحة ومؤسسات المجتمع المدني. من منظور الصحة أطلقنا فكرة لبكرة. من منظور الصحة أطلقنا فكرة لبكرة. إحنا مجموعة شباب خريجي كلية طب قررنا إننا نستغل أماكن الانتظار في المستشفيات الجامعية لنشر الوعي بين الناس، بما إنه الناس بيكونوا هناك منتظرين لفترة. يعني بدأنا في الأول بتحليل الموقف عن طريق استبيان. الاستبيان ده كان فيه مجموعة من الأسئلة عن بتبين مدى وعي الناس عن الصحة الإنجابية وعن السن المناسب للزواج وأكتر الشائعات المتداولة بين الناس في المنطقة دي. وكانت وقتها أهدافنا إننا نصحح المفاهيم المغلوطة دي عن طريق مشاورات لكل متردد على حدة. مش بس كده، لا كمان إحنا كنا بنساعدهم إن هم ياخدوا خطوات فعالة في الموضوع ده عن طريق إن إحنا كنا بنرشدهم لأماكن أخذ الخدمة وهي عيادات تنظيم الأسرة. عملنا الكلام ده عن طريق مقر صغير اعتمدنا فيه على تقنية الصناديق التفاعلية. كنا بنبتدي المشاورات بتاعتنا بكلام عام عن صحة المرأة وصحة الأسرة، وبعدين بنتطرق في الكلام للصحة الإنجابية وتنمية الأسرة. وزي ما حضراتكم شايفين قد إيه الناس كانوا متفاعلين جدا معانا وكانوا مبسوطين إن هم بيعرفوا معلومات جديدة. بالنسبة للاستمرارية بتاعة الخطة بتاعتنا، احنا بسهولة جدا نقدر نعمل تعاون مع المستشفيات الجامعية الأخرى، وممكن كمان بالتعاون مع وزارة الصحة نقدم خدمة مجتمعية عن طريق الوحدات الصحية، بما انه الهدف في الآخر هو تنمية الأسرة المصرية على مستوى الجمهورية. ودلوقتي هنتكلم عن المنظور الثاني.
بالنسبة للمنظور الثاني، فاحنا كأربع شباب من جامعات مختلفة قررنا ان احنا نركز على منظور مؤسسات المجتمع المدني. واول حاجة ابتدينا بيها هي كانت استبيان. الاستبيان ده ساعدنا ان احنا نبني الرسالة بتاعتنا، والرسالة بتاعتنا هي كانت خدمة الفئة المستهدفة من سن 18 ل 35 سنة عن طريق حاجتين. اول حاجة خالص هي كانت عبارة عن سلاسل فيديوهات قصيرة كانت بتتنشر على موقع التواصل الاجتماعي فيسبوك. وتاني حاجة هي ندوات على أرض الواقع في 3 محافظات، هم مطروح والفيوم والأقصر. بالنسبة للمحتوى الأونلاين، فإحنا كنا بناخد متابعين عبر رحلة مكونة من 3 مراحل. أول حاجة هي كانت ما قبل الزواج، وكنا بنركز جدا إن إحنا نتكلم على الأمراض الجينية والوراثية وكيفية تجنبها، وكمان الفحوصات اللازمة ما قبل الزواج، والدعم النفسي كمان للمقبلين على هذه الفترة المهمة، مرورا بأثناء الحمل. وكنا بنركز في الفترة دي على صحة الطفل المهمة جدا في الفترة دي، وكمان دور الراجل الداعم في هذه الفترة المهمة. آخر حاجة خالص كانت معانا في الرحلة هي بقى بعد الحمل، وكنا بنركز في الفترة دي على أهمية الرضاعة الطبيعية وكيفية العناية بالطفل في المرحلة الأولى من عمره، خاصة ال1000 يوم الأولانيين. كان عامل محفز لينا ان اغلب متابعي صفحه مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي كانوا من الرجال، وده كان عامل محفز ان احنا نكمل في نشر سلاسل الفيديوهات، لان ممكن الراجل يبقى عليه ضغط مجتمعي ان هو يشارك في الاحداث دي على ارض الواقع، بس على موقع التواصل الاجتماعي هيبقى ليه الحريه الكامله ان هو يتابع الفيديوهات دي. على الجانب الاخر، بالنسبة للمحتوى اللي تم تقديمه على أرض الواقع، فزي ما احنا شايفين في محافظة مطروح والفيوم كنا دايما بنحرص ان ندواتنا تبقى ندوات تفاعلية، بمعنى ان الناس المشاركين كانوا بيدوا آرائهم، وكمان كانوا بيقوموا بعمل عروض تقديمية أثناء الندوة علشان نقدر نضمن ان المعلومات اللي هم خدوها يقدروا ينشروها على مدى مجتمعاتهم وكمان على مدى معارفهم في بيوتهم. كانت حاجة مهمة بالنسبة لنا برضو ان احنا كنا بنديهم الQR كود علشان يقدروا يخشوا الصفحة بتاعتنا على الفيسبوك، ويقدروا كمان يتابعوا سلاسل الفيديوهات
page to
ويعرفوا
follow.
معلومات
The
أكتر
videos
وأكتر
are
عن
there to know
الموضوع ده.
more about this topic.
كانت حاجة مهمة بالنسبة لنا
It's
جدا
a
ان
great
احنا
thing
نعمل
for our
برنامج السفرة
interest
للاستدامة
to do
عشان
a
نقدر ننشر
program
المحتوى
for
في أكبر عدد من
sustainability to
المحافظات
spread
ممكن.
all the
وده
program
بالفعل
all
قدرنا
over
نعمله في
the
محافظة
country.
الأقصر،
We did that in
وقدرنا نعمل ندوة كاملة في
Al-Aqsa
المحافظة
governorate.
عدم وجود أي عضو من
But
أعضاء
we
الحملة
make
في هذه
sure
المحافظة،
that
ولكن
there is
الندوة
any
كانت
part of
بنفس
the campaign is
الكفاءة،
not
وكان كمان
included
نفس
or
المعلومات
involved.
اللي كنا قدرنا نديها في محافظة الفيوم ومطروح.
And also this happened in
بالنسبة
Fayum and
للخطط
Matruh.
المستقبلية،
As for the
فطبعاً
future
قررنا مع
plans,
المجلس الأعلى
participation
للجامعات
with the
والمؤسسات
High
المجتمع المدني
Council
ووزارة
and
الصحة والتضامن الاقتصادي تضمن
societies,
إحنا دخول
companies.
أكبر عدد من القرى ممكن، وإن إحنا ننشر
We
المحتوى ده
participated
للناس اللي
to
موجودين في
spread
القرى
all
والأماكن
this
دي.
program
كمان
over
الاستمرار في تصوير
the
الفيديوهات
other
القصيرة
governorates
عن طريق
and
دكاترة
towns.
مختصين من وزارة
We
الصحة
used
والجهات المختصة
specialized
ليقدروا يساعدنا إحنا
doctors
ننشر
in
المحتوى
this
ده
perspective
أكتر
to spread
ونتوسع
this
فيه في
awareness
التفاصيل.
and
وآخر حاجة
expand the
خالص
knowledge of it.
هو إنشاء موقع أونلاين
And
للاستشارات
lastly,
الخاصة
to
بالصحة
have or
الإيجابية
create a,
توافقا مع رؤية
a
مصر
website
2030،
related
كمان عشان
to
نقدر إن إحنا
the health,
أدي الحرية
to give
لأكبر
the
عدد من
freedom
الناس ممكن
to
إن
a
هم
great number
يسألوا
of
ويتلقوا
people
الرد
to
المستفيض
receive
في
and
هذا
answer
الموضوع.
and receive
وختاما، إحنا
responses
كشباب
in this
بنؤمن
perspective.
إن
And as
نجاح
youth, we
المشروع ده
believe the
هو رهن
success of
تكاتفنا
this
واختيارنا
project
لنمضي
depends
المستقبل
on us,
اللي
and
بنحلم
our
بيه
choosing
لينا
part
ولأولادنا.
is going to
مستقبل
help
مصر
us in
العظيم
our
اللي كل
future, in the
واحد على
future of
أرضها
Egypt,
عنده تعليم
because
جيد
everyone
ودخل مناسب
has the right
وفرصة
to
عمل
have
بيخدم بيها نفسه
good
وبيحقق
opportunity to
بيها
work, good opportunity to
الحاجات
have
اللي هو عايز
education
يحققها.
to serve
شكراً
his
لسيادتك.
own aims. And thank you, Your Highness.
شكرا جزيلا أستاذة
Thank
بسنت
you,
وأستاذ محمد.
Mr.
شكرا
Basant and
شباب
Mr.
مبادرات
Muhammad.
الجامعات.
Thank you,
والحقيقة
youth
إن
of
طموح
initiatives
الشباب أو
of the
إرادة
universities.
الشباب لا تتكامل
The will of
إلا
youth is not
بآراء
completed
الخبراء.
without the expertise opinions. Now we move to Dr. Magd Osman, the head of the Egyptian Center about the public opinion. As Dr. Hala issued since 1969 or
establishment of this center, there have been great opportunities to deal with the overpopulation issue. What thing is denoted or specialized this issue? Thank you all. I'm blessed to be here today in the launching of this project. It's a great opportunity for me. It's a great project. It's a great question as well. According to the entrance of policy, is different from old entrances. Egypt suffered that since all times, and the success of this issue has great steps, but limited somehow. Now we are having a great and new project, and how it is different. It's important point. From my point of view, the major key is the signs of the challenges that we are facing right now or meeting in the meantime is different than all times. We are over 100 billion people, but there is a great awareness of the upcomings of the issue, and there is a great sense of this overpopulation issue because it affects a personal or individual perspective. To be fully having the support of soil, water, and supply. And also the government could provide services in a high quality to make easy for them to access these services. In this context, it's a great project which is fixing or get a great opportunity of education. Since 2015, we could say this number is the greatest number Egypt has witnessed since now, which is 2 million till now. This group of birth people is going to being under education, are going to be educated to 2011. So the project is difficult from the perspective of education because we are responsible for entering people or enrolling children into education. But if we could achieve since 10 years ago a great opportunity to listen the children percentage or birth percentage. We should take under consideration people that developing education in this perspective is hard. The second point of view, the developmental context is different. Now we are talking about sustainable development wasn't there in 10 years ago. We are talking in the individual perspective and in the social perspective. So the rate of birth and other rates weren't there in the old times, but now it is there. And it's a great indicator of the human capital is considered to be the first indicators in the quality of education. So we should link all stuff together to make Egypt change in the good perspective. Now we are talking about a developmental entrance and a health entrance. A health entrance is great thing. There is also that we're talking about today is the family versus the income of the whole family, because we are talking the men or the male member, but all the organization should be there. The third point is for the first time, because I'm telling that with great confidence. As for the old policies that I have been working with before, there has been a great incentives, positive ones are there today. Now we are talking about positive incentives, and this is a great step in this program if it is done right, and it will have its impact. From my point of view, there are challenges, and there are also good points. Policy discussions allowed give a great step in this perspective. May I am old a little bit, but there is no any president before talked before about the overpopulation issue in this depth.
But you, sir, Your Highness, you treated and dealt with this completely, and also Your Highness linked the perspective of development and overpopulation together. It's clear that you are moving and you're raising the awareness of all the whole population. And I thank you again, because you have told us before that if any one of you has 3 children, please, it is enough. Just consider or wait for a little bit. These messages were effective for your own people, and you did a great job in that perspective. And for the policy or political will is translated or transmitted in great perspective. So let us say the highnesses of ministers are aware, but also the idea of all the levels of the whole society are talking the same language and also asserting in this perspective. And this is a great success. And also the opportunities available now, I'm adding to them the great environment available that supports women. Women is important to be included in society, and the competitiveness between the productive and positive relation is also related to women, and this is going to be done by enabling women in society, and this is a great issue in the transmission phase that we're in. This development weren't there before, and also the digital transformation and providing database, we are available to follow up the achievements of this program locally and globally. And this is a great point and main issue. In the end, the most important in this program or project, I'm talking about my own experiences, the linking between development and population is dignity life. In the end of the 70s, when I was young, there is a project called Development and Population, but it was limited. But now we are talking a very huge project that could change the life of Egyptians if it is linked rightfully. And in the end, or eventually, let me say that we do not have the luxury of being filled. So we are kept to do success only. It needs great effort and fast efforts to be done. I thank you, Your Highness.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور ماجد عثمان رئيس المركز المصري
Thank you, Dr. Magid, expertise in the population affairs. Dr. Magid's opinion was the best expertise opinion in this issue, but of course there are many opinions which have a comprehensive perspective in this issue.
في ناس بتسأل ليه مصر في ال7 سنين اللي فاتوا تحملت أعباء الإصلاح والتنمية في جميع المجالات وكمان بالتوازي.
بلغ عدد سكان مصر حالياً حوالي 103 مليون نسمة، وهو ما يوضح استمرار الزيادة السكانية بسبب استمرار ارتفاع مستويات الإنجاب، حيث أننا نضيف ما يزيد قليلاً على 6000 مولود يومياً، أي مولود كل 14 ثانية، وهو ما سيؤثر على جهود الدولة في التنمية وإمكانية استفادة المواطنين من عائداتها. ومن هنا تأتي أهمية المشروع القومي لتنمية الأسرة.
أيضاً إحنا عندنا تحدي كبير جداً في مصر، وهو قضية توزيع السكان. إحنا متركزين في الوادي الضيق ومحتاجين إن إحنا نخرج منه، وعلشان نخرج منه محتاجين إن إحنا نعمل اللي بنعمله دلوقتي، بنبني مدن، بنوسع الرقعة السكانية، لكن أيضاً محتاجين إن إحنا نوفر فرص للشباب وللأطفال، فرص في التعليم، فرص في العمل والسكن والحياة الكريمة. المشروع القومي لتنمية الأسرة المصرية هو المشروع الأساسي اللي بيتوجه لكل التحديات دي.
وزارة التضامن الاجتماعي حريصة على دعم دور الجمعيات الأهلية ومشاركتها في مواجهة القضية السكانية، ولذلك حرصنا على رصد كافة القرى التي داخل المبادرة الرئاسية حياة كريمة المحرومة من خدمات تنظيم الأسرة، وبدأنا بالفعل اللي احنا في إطار مشروع تنمية الأسرة اللي احنا نجهز إنشاء وتشغيل عيادات لتنظيم الأسرة والصحة الإنجابية داخل هذه القرى. في نفس الوقت نسقنا مع وزارة الصحة علشان يتم تدريب الكوادر الطبية والكوادر الإدارية داخل هذه العيادات.
محور التحول الرقمي يمكن من أهم المحاور، رغم أنه يمكن ما فيهوش خدمات مقدمة بشكل مباشر للجمهور، لكنه من أهم المحاور الخاصة بالمشروع القومي لتنمية الأسرة. هيقوم من خلاله عمل بوابة إلكترونية متكاملة ومنظومة إلكترونية متكاملة للأسرة المصرية، ويمكن دي لأول مرة بتتم في مصر. طيب ده فايدته إيه أو هيعود بإيه على المواطن؟ أولاً هيبقى لكل أسرة حساب أو أكاونت على المنظومة دي، نقدر نتابع بيه الأسرة دي إيه الخدمات اللي حصلت عليها وإيه احتياجاتها. عندنا دلوقتي مجموعة من الخدمات، مثلاً من خلال المشروع بيتم تمويل قروض، تمويل مشروعات متناهية الصغر أو مشروعات صغيرة، مشاغل خياطة، أنشطة ثقافية، خدمات صحية. طيب أنا دلوقتي محتاجة أتابع إنه هل الأسر بيوصل لها كافة الخدمات ولا في نوع من
meet their own needs or not. We need to have a governance and following up and evaluation of the project to make sure that the services provided by the program or the project are delivered to the people who need it and deserve it. The second dimension is through the gate. We're going to reschedule the sources available. These resources are going to be linked with a great of incentives or governance and the effectiveness of the project. The effect of this program on the affinities related to the child and also the mother, to reduce the deaths of the mothers and also providing healthcare needed during the pregnancy period, and for the children they're going to be giving the age needed for the child, and also providing services in the educational and social services, and also improving the whole members in these perspectives. The economical structure is to enable women in this program, not through projects and programs of developing skills, but through financial abilities and also security insurance, and also providing time to women. They're going to giving them insurance money for women who are directly are giving checks about cancer of the breasts and other diseases related to women, and also their frequency visits to the clinics, and giving at least two men at max for every family. So giving them care, achieving them the main key of the project, which is improving the characteristics of the population and the balance between the social and economical level of every family. Launching this project in dignity, with life with dignity, were just difficult to be launched, but after this study and insistence and commitment, we are available to meet these challenges. And this is the aim of the project, to develop the Egyptian family, improving the social life for every people. With this overview of the expertise, this discussion is ended to show the strategy of this project. Your Highness, Your President, your own word, please. In the name of God, I will not make this long. We have talked a lot and discussed, and I'm giving the great evaluation for the people who are working in this project, and it is important to work with us, with each other, to have a great social development. We are, as civil societies, universities, media, and all the axes are available to be coordinate with each other and cooperate. We're not talking about development of the Egyptian family. We are developing the Egyptian country to fight ignorance and unhealthy life. We should stick together to achieve success, to achieve the opposite of ignorance, to have knowledge. This is not going to be developed unless this project is done, and we put it in our eyes as the core by which we need to move with it in order to change the reality in our country in a better perspective. I'm not going to take it long. A great salute for you all and your own efforts, and it's a great step. And after that, to witness in every 2 months the rates of the overpopulation, we are going to talk about it and just say about it? No, we are going to take actions regarding that. We are talking about stability. The real stability is to have the great consent of the society. We are not responsible for that, we as a government, but we all need to move in that direction, to deliver that to the people themselves, to take care. This number is not balanced with education, is not balanced to the road or infrastructure. There is no job opportunities for that. Why you give them birth, whereas there is no any kind of service provided in that perspective? So I'm thanking you. We need to work and work and work, and not in that perspective, but in other perspectives, not just development, without any rest, without any kind of sleep or rest. If you would like to achieve the goals of this project and give your country a great step in that perspective, we need to work. Thank you all, and thank you, Your Highness, and your attendees. Your Highness, we have a meeting this day to make the strategy of the road path, to start the development with a great birth, with strength and dignity, to promote the ability of the family and the society and the country itself. It's not today, but in all the levels of development and sustainability. The winning part is the Egyptian citizen, and as Dr. Hala mentioned, he is she is the citizen of Egypt, is the great member who is going to contribute in the success of this project and program. And thank you all today.